Hello everyone. I wanted to go ahead, this is Lynette here. I'm going to go ahead and share this hanger that I created using just some supplies around the house, an old pizza box and things like that. So nothing real fancy, but it does turn out very pretty. There's a lot of color and it's very easy and quick to make, so it will be fun. Let's see if I can get it close here. So you can see it's got quite a bit of sparkle on it and a little bit of layers. Lots of mix of colors. We're going to use everything from the sorbets to the velvets to the colorations for this. Even going to use a little bit of glass beads, some glitter, some stamps, and some gesso. Okay, so to look at the colors that we're going to use tonight, I went ahead and put them on paper in case I don't remember to tell you them as I say them. So I have the colorations over here. So we have Heart, Juicy, Glorious, Grass. I'm not even going to try to say that one. It's a wonderful place in Hawaii. Raider and Plush. Okay. The velvets that we're using is Fiji, Lemon Tart, and Desire. We're using 2 sorbets today, and that is Black Leather Jacket. It's got the sparkle in it. And Linen, which is actually one of our clear coats. It has a little bit of a silver sparkle in it. So that's the main difference between these two lines, of course, is the shimmer and then the sparkle. Okay? So moving on. The first thing that I did was I created the hearts. And I went ahead and did these earlier for time's sake, but I want to show you how I did them. So we'll make another one using Fiji just to show you guys how I did it. Real simple. I'm sure you know how, but we'll just share anyways. Okay. So I started just with a plain mixed media piece of paper, nothing special, not no specific kind of cardstock, just something that you have on hand. The trick with this is just to make sure that you have an even coat because you want it to dry fairly quick. Because you're going to stamp on top of it, so the trick is you want it to be dry and even so you can see it. Now you could stamp and paint over top of it, but I really wanted the stamped image to show through and show, I wanted it to be the dominant thing. So I'm sorry if I sound tired or out of it. I've been outside with children all day doing our field day at school. So those kids wore me out. Okay, so I'm going to leave that to dry. It won't take long, but I'm just going to put it to the side. The next thing that I started doing is I cut a pizza box into 4x4 squares. It's just a pizza box, just the lid to the pizza box. The trick was not having pizza on it. Okay. So then I just went ahead and peeled. So Marilyn, you can't hear me. Just peeled the top layer of the pizza box off. And you're going to get that little bit of grunge there. But it just makes for that corrugated paper without having to buy that corrugated paper. Okay? So for time's sake, I went ahead and gessoed those up last night so we would have them ready for today. So you can see where I have the different layers of the leftover paper there. And that's going to give us a different texture when we start adding our color on top of that. Okay? You can see the different. That'll pick up the color different. Okay? Okay. So now, I went ahead and I have 4 here just to see which ones I like best. So we're going to start adding some color to these, and then we're going to set them to the side to dry. Okay? For this, I just used a mix of colorations. Not any rhyme or reason. Just tried to keep them a little separate because I didn't want the colors to blend together too much. But I wanted the colors to dry on their own. I didn't want to heat them. So we're going to spray. We're going to commit to our spray and spray down. Complete sprays. And this is Juicy, which is our orange. One of our oranges. So with this, I'm just trying to keep colors that will look really bad if they overlap, not on top of each other. Okay. That was glorious. Some grass. But the important thing that I wanted was just, I wanted it very random. So that was the main goal here. Just keeping everything random. And because my cardboard has a gesso base, it's going to take a little bit longer for it to dry. And we'll add some hottie in here too, because my heart isn't working. I must not have committed to my spray. That's okay. I'll fix it later. So we're going to let that sit for a minute before I move it, because I don't want it to change on me too much. I am going to heat this up just a little bit, just for time's sake. But I really want that pool of color to stay. I'm going to dab up some of it, but most of it I want it to stay there. Now, if I was using a different heat tool for this, it would move my color around quite a bit, and that would ruin this type of project. So you want to make sure when you're using a heat tool that you're not using one that's going to blow your color around. This one moves it slightly, but not nearly as much as a regular embossing heat gun would. I'm not sure what the other ones are called, but there's, you know, the ones that normally burn your projects. I think we've all had that happen. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to dab a little bit off here. Okay. And then I just got a little bit So while that's finishing drying before I put the next coat on those, I'm going to go ahead and go back to our velvet and make sure that's dry. Because if you're not 100% sure that it's dry, you don't want to stamp on top of it. Because then you'll have paint on your stamp, and that's not always the best thing. But I guess it could be okay. For this, I used this packet of Ranger stamps by Diane Wakely. I mispronounce her name all the time. But I'm not sure what they're called. Clearly collage tarts. They're really pretty cute. Okay. Did not like that for some reason. The camera did not. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this one. For this, I used Stays On ink, because that's what I grabbed. Waterproof ink is always best to use when you're making a project like this. I just went ahead and stamped right on to my painted paper. You can see, it's that simple. And now, because I stamped on top of the paint instead of underneath it, now I still would have seen my image if I would have done it the other way, but it's the more dominant feature instead of trying to paint over that. Okay? Okay. Let's put these away. And moving right along. So the next thing that I did is I went ahead and I cut these hearts out. I already did that, but just so you can see how easy it is, I'll do one real quick. You could do this with a die cut as well. Add your layer of paint, stamp, and die cut instead of using just your markers. But it's that, you know, it's that easy. Just whenever I have white paper, I always like to just edge. Just with a marker or a Faber-Castell pip pen. I use those a lot too. But just so you get rid of that white edge that you see with your paper. Okay. Okay. Stamped image away. I know, Michelle, everyone's so quiet. It's making me think that it's not working. Okay. We're going to finish this off and make sure that it is 100% dry. See if I can get these to flatten out a little bit. Add some heat to the back of them. That's better. I'm trying to get this color to be dry so I can add a clear coat on top of it because I really want these colors to stay right where they are. So by using the clear coat on top of it, it's going to seal that color in and not move around as I add the different mediums to it. But I need to make sure that it's dry before I do that. Okay. So sorry about the heat tool. I try to avoid it when at all possible for you guys, but sometimes it just happens. At least I didn't make you watch me paint gesso, right?